Hi, welcome to the Doggy Dash 3K's first episode of Training with Tabitha. I'm your host, Tabitha. If you're watching this video, you've likely heard of the Doggy Dash and you want to learn more on how to prepare yourself and your dog to run the Doggy Dash on September 13th. Throughout this training series, we're going to be focusing on a program called the Pooch to 5K. It is modified, it's a modified plan kind of based on the popular Couch to 5K, but a veterinarian in Australia has modified the program to make it safer and make it more appropriate for your dog's needs when it comes to running. If you plan on running the Doggy Dash by yourself and without a dog, you can still use this program to help ease yourself into running. We're going to kick off this first episode by simply talking about the equipment and tools that you need and steps you need to take to prepare your dog and yourself to start running. For starters, I recommend everyone visit pooch25k.com and familiarize yourself with the running program. If you have any questions about that, you can go ahead and shoot me an email. I'll give you the email address at the end of this video. First of all, the most important thing is make sure that your pet, your dog, has a very good checkup with your veterinarian before you start any exercise program to make sure it's healthy enough to start the intense exercise. There's many things your vet should be doing: checking heart, checking joints, taking into consideration the age of your pet and the breed, because not all breeds of dogs are suitable for running. You have your smaller dogs, such as your Chihuahua, or your brachiocephalic dogs, which are your smush-faced dogs like your Pug or your Bulldog, that may just not be cut out to do a running program. So definitely run that by your vet before you get started. The number one thing you're going to need for running with your dog, obviously, is a collar and a leash. For running, I would recommend a very basic collar and a very basic leash. Collar, I would go with a buckle collar. It's going to be the easiest and safest thing to use with your dog. Just make sure it's in good shape and properly fitted so you don't run the risk of losing your dog during the run. I would definitely avoid using any prong collars such as this one or any choke collars because that can be dangerous with your dog if while you're running at the high intensity it tries to pull away and you try to jerk and correct. You could harm your dog. As far as leashes, I would go with just a basic 4 or 6 foot leash. I would not go with a flexi leash if your dog tugs quickly as you're running at the fast pace and one of the mechanisms inside that fails to catch or breaks. Your dog could dart out into the street where you're going to be running and could get hit by a car. So I would definitely avoid using those. Something that I find really nice is a leash that you can actually latch around your waist, or they also make them that latches around your wrist so you have hands-free running. I prefer the one that goes around your waist because it helps you keep your running form. You just got to make sure that your dog is not going to pull and tug you and cause you to fall and hurt yourself. As far as safety for your dog, you also need to make sure that you are taking along water. They make water bottles where you can take the cap off, it turns into the water bowl, you pour the water in, your dog gets a drink. So make sure that your dog is staying properly hydrated during the runs so it does not get sick or overheats. You can find something like this on Amazon. I looked up a brand called Gear Handy Drinks. You can get it fairly affordable. Again, I found it on Amazon. So just find something like that that you can take along. The Gear Handy Drinks was made where you could clip it straight to your belt, so it was something easy to take along on your run. Also, the number one important thing to remember: take a poop bag. It never fails. When I run with my dogs, we have to make at least 2 stops for their bowel movements. It is almost guaranteed if you run with your dog, they will have to poop. So definitely take that. Your neighbors are going to appreciate it if you're cleaning up after your dog when you're out running on the streets and the sidewalks in your neighborhood. So that kind of sums it up a little bit for the dogs. There's also some things you need to do for yourself to prepare for running. I'm not going to focus on this as much because there is a whole plethora of information on the internet where you can find stuff on getting started running for yourself. Number one thing you need to do though is get you a good pair of running shoes. Go ahead, fork over the cash, make a good investment. A lot of times you may think, well, I'll just use my old pair of tennis shoes, it'll be fine for running. It is not. Plus, if your first running experience is a negative experience because you have bad shoes and it causes you aches and pains and soreness that you shouldn't be having, it's going to make it more difficult for you to keep yourself into the running series and push yourself to continue. So make sure you invest in that. Also, you need to make sure that you invest in proper running clothes. They have dry wicking clothes now. It helps you regulate your temperature. It pulls the sweat away from your body so you're staying dry. If it's cold, it helps you stay warm. If it's warm, it helps you stay cool. So I would recommend investing in some clothing like that. Again, I'm just briefly touching on stuff for yourself. Whole plethora of information on the internet. Go ahead and look up, beginner runners and tips for that. And if you have any questions, feel free to shoot me an email. trbdoggydash2014@gmail.com. I'll be more than happy to answer some of your questions. And if I get a lot of questions in our next episode, I'll start off with a Q&A session. Because if you have the question, chances are 15 other people out there watching this video have the same question. So again, shoot me an email. And I'll see you next week. And then I'll see you on September 13th for Doggy Dash 2014.